Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over number patterns and sequences. We'll talk about what that is, but it's the sixth and final video in my series on the foundations of mathematics, which is a precursor to pre-algebra topics. Okay, so let's get started. What are number patterns and sequences? Essentially, this is kind of a skill building exercise in order to get you more accustomed to seeing different patterns and things like that in orders and sequences of numbers. So there's a couple of things we want to talk about. First, let's talk about and define what an arithmetic sequence is. Arithmetic sequence. Okay. So an arithmetic sequence, basically I should define a sequence, is a set of numbers in some particular order. That's what a sequence is. An arithmetic sequence in particular is something that looks like this. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. This is an arithmetic sequence because what we're doing each time is we're starting at some set value. It doesn't really matter what that set value at the beginning is. And then we're adding or subtracting the same amount every time to get to the next number. 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8, and so on. That's an arithmetic sequence, okay? There's another type of sequence that it's important to know. It's called a geometric sequence. Geometric sequence, okay? So what is a geometric sequence? Well, a geometric sequence does something similar, right? But instead, every time instead of adding every time, we're actually going to be multiplying by some set value every time. So 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. That's a geometric sequence, okay? So these are the two main types of sequences and patterns that are important for you to know, that are defined with a name. So let's keep those in the back of our mind for a second while we talk about how to identify numbers in a sequence or in a pattern. So let's say you're given a question that asks you, what is the next number in this sequence? Okay, and it starts with this. What number should go there? Well, how do we approach a question like this? Well, we know it's a pattern of sequence. So the first thing we should be looking for is whether it's arithmetic or geometric or something else. So, well, is it arithmetic? Well, let's see. We go plus 2 here, plus 2 here. Oh, yep, it's arithmetic, right? Every time you're adding the same amount. Therefore, you go to the final number in the sequence that we have, just add that same set amount to it, and our final number, our question mark, is going to be 9. Okay, that's how we solve a question like this. Let's do another example. Okay, let's say we're looking for this number. Okay, let's figure it out. Is this an arithmetic sequence or not? Well, this is plus 6. This one, that's more than 6. That's plus 18. Okay. Now, I see something a little bit unique about this. Well, what is this? This is plus 54. Okay, so it's not arithmetic, right? But maybe it's something else. Maybe it's geometric. That's times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3, you can check this with a calculator if you don't know it, but 27 times 3 is 81. Yes, it looks geometric. We're multiplying by 3 every time. So how do we get to our last number? We start with 81. We multiply by 3. 81 times 3 is 243. That's going to be our answer. Okay? All right. Now, there's another quick example I want to explain before we do a final practice question with each other. So the example I want to give is something like this. Okay? 0, 4, 12, 24, 40. Find this number. Okay, so let's say we have 0, 4, 12, 24, 40, question mark. Okay, first, identify, is it arithmetic? Plus 4, plus 8, nope, not arithmetic. We do different addition each time, okay. All right, now, is it geometric? Well, nothing times 0 gives you 4. So it's not geometric, right? There's nothing that you can multiply 0 by to give you 4, right? So it's not strictly geometric. So now what do we do? Okay. The next thing we want to identify is what are the intervals between each step in the sequence. So basically, how large is each step? This is a 4 step. This is an 8 step. This is a 12 step. This is a 16 step. And now what we do is instead of looking for a pattern in this, we look for a pattern in the steps. And immediately I see a pattern in the steps, right? This is 4. This is another 4. That's 8. And then there's another 4. That's 12. And that's another 4. That's 16. So it seems like the steps are the things that are in an arithmetic sequence to give us this pattern at the bottom. Okay, so now that we found this continuous set of, steps, about 4 each time, we just add, to find the next number, we add another 4 to the step, the bigger step, and that gives us a plus 20 step on this original sequence, right? Therefore, we have 40 plus this 20 that we just found by continuing this 4 pattern up top. 40 plus 20, 60 is our next number. Okay? Now, let's do a practice question together. Okay, here's our practice question. What are the next 2 numbers in the pattern? 0, 2, 6, 12, 20, blank, blank. Okay, pause the video if you want to try this question on your own. Otherwise, we're going to go through it. Okay, so immediately we check whether it's arithmetic. Plus 2, plus 4, that's not arithmetic. Okay, so it's not arithmetic. Okay, now let's check if it's geometric. If something starts with a 0, we can never make it geometric, because 0 times any number will never get you anything other than 0. So times nothing. So it's not geometric, okay? So we figured out it's not strictly arithmetic, it's not strictly geometric. Let's figure this sequence out. Okay, 0, 2, 6, 12, 20. Let's go through our strategy like we just discussed. Find the intervals for all of the sequence that we have. That interval is 2. That interval is 4. This one's 6. This one's 8. Okay, so now we see a pattern, right? Every time the interval itself is increasing by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8. Well, what's the next number? It should be 10. And the next number after that should be plus 12. Right? It's going up by 2 every time. Okay, so plus 2, plus 4, plus 6, plus 8, plus 10, plus 12. Now we just have to find the next number. 20 plus 10 gives you 30. 30 plus 12 gives you 42. And that's going to be our correct answer for this sequence. Okay, everything I explained today can also work with division and with subtraction, right? Because remember, an addition is just, or a subtraction is just addition of a negative number. So minus 1 is just plus negative 1. So any addition sequence like this can also work as a subtraction sequence if I started with 42 and then worked my way backwards, right? I wrote the sequence like this: 42, 30, 20, 12, 6, find the next 2 numbers, right? You could do that just by doing the exact same thing except backwards, okay? This is a minus 12, a minus 10, and so on. Exactly the same thing. Okay, so that's going to be it for today's video. Leave a comment if you have any questions about or want some clarification on something we talked about today, or just want another subject that you think would be helpful for me to review in a different video. Okay, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for coming to my channel.